Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon everyone. My name is Altaf Noita Mamar Hendra and my student ID is 2550701081411014 and I'm from medical student from the Faculty of Medicine Universitas Brawijaya. Today I will present an oral summary of the article titled The Use of Cadaver in Medical Practice. So, we get into the main content. First, I will explain the role of cadaver in medical education. Cadaver are preserved human bodies used for learning. They are essential in medical training. Students use cadaver to study anatomy in detail. This observes muscle, nerve, blood vessel, and organs directly. Cadaver also helps students practice procedures, for example, surgical techniques, incision, and organ handling. This builds confidence before working on real patients. Without cadaver, learning becomes limited. Students would rely only on books, image, or simulation. These methods cannot fully represent real human structure. Cadaver provide real texture, depth, and variation. Each human body is different. This variation is important for clinical understanding. Because of this, cadaver remain a core component in medical education. Second, I will explain the ethical concern from an Islamic perspective. The main issue is the dignity of the deceased. Islam teaches that human beings are honored creation. This dignity does not end with death. It continues after a person passes away. There are a clear instruction in Islam on how to treat the dead. The body must be washed, shrouded, prayed for, and buried properly. These actions show respect and honor. There are also strict prohibitions. Harming a dead body is not allowed. A well-known hadith states that breaking the bone of the deceased person is like breaking it when alive. This shows that the dead must be treated with equal respect. Another principle is the prohibition of mutilation. Even in war, harming dead bodies is forbidden. The Prophet clearly instructed not to mutilate enemies. This shows that dignity applies to all humans. There are also teachings about grave. People are not allowed to sit or behave disrespectfully around graves. All of these rules lead to one conclusion, which is the default ruling is to preserve the dignity of the deceased at all times. Third, I will explain the concept of exceptions. Although the default rule is prohibition, Islam allows exception in certain situations. There are exceptions are based on necessity and greater benefit. One important principle is preserving life. Saving a living person is a higher priority than preserving a dead body. For example, if a pregnant woman dies but the fetus is still alive, surgery is allowed. The body may be opened to save the baby. This shows that saving life overrides the role of preserving the corpse. Another example is emergency survival. If a person faces extreme starvation and no food is available, consuming human flesh might be allowed. This is a rare and extreme situation. The reason is simple. Preserving life is more important. Another case is related to property. If a dead person swallows valuable items, the body may be opened to retrieve them. This prevents loss of wealth and protects ownership right. There are also cases related to criminal justice. Autopsy may be performed to determine cause of death. This helps identify crimes and ensure justice. Medical research is another example. Studying disease in that body helps prevent future illness. It also improves diagnosis and treatment. From this example, we can identify a key principle. When there is a strong benefit or necessity, certain prohibition may be lifted. Fourth, I will explain the use of cadaver in medical education based on the principle. Using cadaver is considered permissible by many scholars. The main reason is the large benefit. Medical education procedures skilled doctors. Doctors save lives, reducing suffering, and improve public health. One trained doctor may treat thousands of patients in their career. This creates a significant long-term benefit. Cadaver training also improves patient safety. Students who practice on cadaver make fewer mistakes in real situations. This also no perfect alternative. Digital simulation and models exist. However, they cannot fully replace a real human anatomy. Therefore, cadavers remain necessary. Autopsy is also important in forensic medicine. Doctors can identify the cause of the death, and it also helps a legal investigation. Autopsy also supports epidemiology. It helps track disease patterns and prevent outbreaks. Because of these benefits, many scholars allow cadaver use under condition. Fifth, I will explain the ethical guidelines. Even though cadaver is the use is allowed, strict rules must be followed. First, consent. The deceased must be give permission before death, or the family must agree. This respect the personal rights. Second, the necessity. The section must be limited to what it is needed for. Learning. Unnecessary procedures are not allowed. Third, the respect. The cadaver must be treated with dignity at all time and at all costs. No jokes, no disrespect, no inappropriate behavior. For example, taking selfies or making videos is not allowed. 4. Proper handling after use. The body must be buried up properly according to the religious guidelines. This rule ensures balance between benefit and respect. 6. I will explain opposing views. Not all scholars agree with this permissibility. Some scholars reject all forms of dissection and autopsy. They argue that any harm to the body is unacceptable. They focus strictly on preserving dignity. Other scholars take a middle position. They allow autopsy only in certain cases. For example, some permit it only for non-protected individuals. They still prohibit it for Muslims and protected non-Muslims. This shows that there is diversity of opinion. However, many modern scholars and fatwa councils support permissibility with condition. They consider the benefits to society as a strong justification. 7. I will highlight the key principle. The discussion is based on balancing two values. First, respect for the dead. Second, benefit for the living. Islam does not ignore either side. Instead, it evaluates which one has greater impact. In the case of medical education, the benefit is very large. It affects public health, safety, and future life. Therefore, permissibility is granted with strict ethical control. So, we jump to the last part, which is the conclusion. The use of cadaver in medical practice raises important ethical questions. The main concern is the dignity of the deceased. Islam strongly protects this dignity. However, exceptions are allowed when there is a greater benefit. Medical medical education, forensic investigation, and disease research provide strong justification. Many scholars also allow cadaver use with clear condition. These include consent, necessity, respect, and proper burial. By following these rules, medical education can continue while human dignity. I think that's it for my oral summary. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.